Actually, let's start from my
Where do you want to
shirt.
start?
My shirt. It
No,
says
no excuses, only results.
count.
Okay, so count. Only results count. Well, only yeah, results count, and you're not really getting the results.
Jack, good evening.
Hi,
It's,
Nicos. Good to speak to you.
it's March 26. Let's do a preview. Tonight we have Leicester Bradford. Tomorrow, Everton, early kickoff. Everton, Man United, Bournemouth, Wolves, Arsenal, West Ham, Fulham, Crystal Palace, Ipswich, Tottenham, Southampton, Brighton, Aston Villa, Chelsea. And on Sunday, your team Newcastle against Nottingham Forest and Man City against Liverpool. So, where shall we start?
There's loads of good games this weekend, isn't there? Loads to look forward to, and I think we'll start. I quite like the idea of.
Actually, let's start from
Where
my
do you want to
shirt.
start?
My shirt. It
No,
says
no excuses, only results.
count.
Okay, so count. Only results count. Well, only yeah, results count, and you're not really getting the results, are you? I think it's going to
Yeah.
be a tough one, isn't it? Going to Everton and David Moyes tomorrow. That's a really difficult one for Man United.
Well, I don't expect that we're going to get anything out of that match, to be honest.
You're not very optimistic then,
No, no,
Nikos.
no, no, no.
You need David Moyes. You need him to come in. He seems to come into a struggling team and work wonders. So he's got this magic recipe, hasn't he, at the moment? And they're playing really well. And and players who were really like underperforming, especially Beto, the striker, they suddenly look like world beaters. So I'm looking forward to that one because it's every game. I like to watch the Everton games now because it's always the last fixture against that team at Goodison Park, and obviously that's a historic stadium. So I do try and catch the games. I know that the Merseyside derby against Liverpool the other week was dramatic, and the crowd were going crazy, and it'll be the same again because they have that a bit of a rivalry with Man United over the years as well. So two established clubs. So I'm expecting a really good game. I'm hoping it is. I hope that the game matches up to the occasion because it's the last time Man United are going to play at that stadium.
Yes, but we are struggling and we are lacking in confidence. That's a big problem. And if they don't start picking up points, we might struggle until the end of the season.
Yeah, it's not going well. I think he just wants the season to finish now, doesn't he, Amorim? I think he's just a bit fed up, and it's the same old questions. He seems to be interviewed every other day. I've never seen a manager conduct so many interviews. I don't know why the club allow that. But anyway, he's always seems to be coming out with the same stuff, and I think it's just getting a bit frustrated for him now. He just needs to get the season over and done with, and just try and get his players in and have a whole pre-season, which is probably what he wanted anyway in the first place. But
Yeah.
obviously, he felt like he was told he had to take the offer mid-season, which is not ideal for him.
Yeah, but how many times during the week is he going to speak to the press and say the same old things? We need to improve. We need to do this. We need to do that. So it's
getting boring for him. It's getting boring for the fans. It just seems the whole thing seems to. I don't know. It just feels like there's no energy there, and it's just sort of. It's all a bit dull at the moment, isn't it? There, and it's all a bit gloomy, and it's all a bit
exactly.
samey. It's all about the Europa League, isn't it? That's what you keep saying. It's all about the Europa League. That's the ticket to the Champions League, and everything has to be focused on that from now on.
Yeah, and as we already mentioned, only results count.
Yeah, no, I like your T-shirt. I don't know if you got that custom made, but yeah, you might want to wear that for good luck, or maybe show it. Maybe Amorim should wear that shirt and show it to the players. Yeah.
So your team Newcastle against Nottingham Forest on Sunday.
Oh yeah, that's a good one, isn't it? That's a tough one because we all know all about Forest. We've said about them most of the season on the podcast, and they've just been incredible. But having said that, Newcastle did win away at Forest twice this season in the cup and in the league. So in the League Cup and in the Premier League. So it's a team Newcastle obviously can play well against this season. I know last season, I think it was last season, that Chris Wood scored the hat trick. That was when people didn't really know he had that quality in him. And they beat Newcastle at St James's, so it is possible. But yeah, I'm hoping there's going to be a response from the Newcastle players, because it was such a terrible performance last week against Man City. They really let themselves down, and that they were terrible looking across the pitch. Really, and they were second best to everything. And yeah, Man City were quite good, but they should really have not. They shouldn't have paid them that much respect that they did, and they've sort of dropped their levels, which is surprising, because as I said previously, the Newcastle players always raise their game against the big teams, and it's usually against the lower teams that they don't perform. So it just shows you don't perform, have an off day against any team, even an out of form Man City, let's say, even though they have picked up a little bit, you get punished. So I'm really hoping for a response on Sunday. So fingers crossed on that one.
Man City, Liverpool. Man City were knocked out of the Champions League, so they don't have much to play for this season, apart from
it's all
qualification.
On the Premier League now.
Yeah. Apart
Well,
from
they've got the FA Cup, but the league is they can focus on getting that top four, can't they now?
Yes, exactly. So that's a good one on Sunday late in the afternoon.
Liverpool, haven't they? They've been, they've not been struggling, but there's some signs there. Like, I thought Wolves caused them a lot of problems last weekend, and Liverpool really were lucky to not go finish with a draw maybe, and they just scraped it, I thought. And then in midweek against Villa, Liverpool played well-ish, yeah, but Nunes should have scored that open goal, of course. But Villa just scraped the post in the last second of the game. They could have won it with the last kick. So they just got a draw there and just scraped past Wolves. And Man City are going to be buoyed by the Newcastle win, although obviously very disappointing in the Champions League. But if they focus on what they did last weekend in the league, that should give them some confidence. So that's going to be interesting. Obviously, Arsenal are watching closely, because they just desperately need Liverpool to drop as many points as they can as possible between now and the end of the season, to try and catch them. And every draw here and an Arsenal win there, it sort of closes that gap a little bit more, and it could be 5 points, couldn't it? Once all the games are evened out, it could be 5 points. So the gap, and obviously Arsenal still have to play Liverpool. So you never know. It's not completely over yet, is it?
No, I agree with you. And Liverpool, they are showing some signs of tiredness, because they rely on 13, 14 players, and might catch up to them.
Yeah, it might do. And they've signed some new players, and obviously they've given them that fresh impetus. Marmoush scored that hat trick against Newcastle last time out. That was disappointing, but good for Man City. And it's at Man City, isn't it? It's at the Etihad, so
Yes.
Tricky place for Liverpool to go. On a Sunday evening kickoff. So.
And tonight's match, Leicester-Bradford. Well, Leicester, if they want to avoid relegation, they need to start to pick up some points. But Bradford is a difficult opponent.
Yeah, he's been struggling, hasn't he, Ruud van Nistelrooy? And it's not gone exactly how he wanted. Had a fairly promising start, but a few disappointing results here and there. And it's difficult when you're taking over a team who are struggling. That's usually when the jobs are, aren't they? If you get a job when the team's struggling, but it's hard to, sort of overcome that when they're a little bit off the pace in terms of quality. And any team coming up from the Championship, and unless they make several £100 million signings, bunch of signings, then with proven Premier League experience, it's going to be a struggle, isn't it? And Vardy's been there; he's been a legend there for years. He's getting on a bit now. He's in his late 30s, isn't he? And he's still producing here and there, but they've not got the quality. They lost a lot of players when they got relegated. Lost James Maddison, for example, and they haven't replaced them because they were relegated. So it's difficult for Ruud van Nistelrooy. It's every game's, well, especially the home matches, must win, really, aren't they? So they're at home tonight, and they really need to win that one.
Yeah.
But Brentford are a good team.
Arsenal, West Ham. What do you think about that?
Arsenal, West Ham. West Ham haven't done too well. I mean, Graham Potter came in, didn't he? And he's not turned it around in the way Moyes did when he went to Everton. look at the comparisons there, and people are, because obviously Moyes was at West Ham before, and it's a case of careful what you wish for. Potter's come in, and it's not really worked so far, but I don't think many of the West Ham fans are blaming him. I think they're just saying, what can he do with the players he's got and the situation we're in? Just need to keep us up, and a bit like Amorim, really, just got to get to the end of the season, give him a pre-season, give him some money to spend, and see what he can do. So I think that's that one.
Ipswich Tottenham. Well, with Tottenham, I don't know. I mean, Ange Postecoglou, they won against Man United, and he went to the press conference, and he was still complaining about the injuries. And
he loves to complain, doesn't he? He doesn't stop complaining.
He's feeling the pressure.
Yeah, he is. You can see it, can't you? You can see it straight away.
Yeah,
it really is. And but yeah, that's another big game, and it's their consistency, isn't it? It's just seeing how they can perform, every week, not just the odd performance here and there.
Yeah, exactly.
Excuse me. So yeah,
and we have the match down Southampton, Brighton. So I think it would be an away win for Brighton. What do you think?
Yeah, not even because Brighton are amazing, although they did have that impressive win against Chelsea, didn't they, last weekend? But Southampton. I was talking about Leicester being poor and off the pace. I mean, Southampton are just another level down. It's going to be. I mean, they're only just going to get over 10 points. I think. Only just going to break into double figures this season. So it's a struggle. It's been a struggle all season, and it was expected to be a struggle for teams like Southampton. It would have been a mighty impressive feat to stay up this season.
Yeah.
For Leicester, for Leicester and for Southampton. So I can only see an away win, but you never know. It's they say it's like a local derby, but it's more like a South Coast sort of thing. And get the fans behind you. You never know what could happen, but they don't have enough quality ultimately, especially in the final third, to put the ball in the net, and that's what you need, don't you, to stay up.
Exactly. And the last one I want to discuss is Aston Villa Chelsea. It would be a cracker, in my opinion.
Another great game. There's 3 or 4 really good games, especially teams near the top. The top half of the table, and Villa. They'll be buoyed by that draw against Liverpool. They played well, and they could have won it. Excuse me, like they said. But yeah, I quite like watching Villa play. I mean, they've got a lot of good attacking talent. I think they've had a few injuries at the back, and that showed. And there was a bad mistake in that Liverpool match from the right back who Garcia wouldn't usually play, but I don't think. But yeah, I mean, Rashford's there, isn't he? And he's had a bit of an impact so far. Let's see if he's waiting for his first goal. It might be the time. It might be the time to do it. This weekend. Against Chelsea, quite a high-profile match, late kick-off on the Saturday. So, what have you thought? Have you noticed much of what were you expecting Rashford to do in the first few games? Has he lived up to his potential, or do you think he's still showing a lack of confidence?
He needs some game time to find his rhythm. But of course, okay, it's a new project for him. Not too much pressure like at Man United, even though he was picked out because he did a track back and they lost the ball and the opponent scored the other day. So I don't know. It's for Aston Villa and Emery. He wants to push on to qualify for the Champions League. That's why they made this couple of transfers in the transfer window.
They signed a few good players, didn't they? Signed here Asensio and Disasi, the centre-back from Chelsea. So they made some good signings at Aston Villa. So let's see how they go on.
Okay. So thank you very much, Jack. And we'll speak again next week.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you very much.